Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Furtado, the Rebel Trader. Today, well, you know me, I want to go ahead and jump on the lathe and turn something. That's what I like doing. But I need to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long period of time. And it's kind of an upgrade to the shop again. It's going to be a thien baffle dust separator. Let me show you what I got and what I'm going to be working with. Well, not too long ago, I picked up a very inexpensive 3/4 horse Delta dust extractor. All it was this unit with a bag. So since then I've picked up some hose and I've used it up with just a bag, but it's bulky, it blows up into a big thing parallel, it takes a lot of room in the shop, and not really something that I can use. On my previous to the last job, the guys were doing some spray insulation on the ceiling, and it's all it is fibers, and it takes a glue mixture mixed up on the gun as it's blowing out like a vacuum hose, and it has a sprayer mixing up this glue with that foam insulation, which makes a mess. Anyway, that glue comes in 55-gallon drums. So they emptied out a couple of drums on my job, so I was like, hey, if you guys don't reuse those, I could use one of these 55-gallon drums, which also has the block ring, which is nice. So basically, I can separate the whole thing, put it back in, and lock it up. It's got a seal around it, so it's completely sealed. So what I'm going to do is this thien baffle, and it's going to be a little bit larger than this because this was for the cyclone. And basically, I'm going to take it where it ends up about 1.5 inches from this rim over here. So the larger you make it, my thinking is, because nobody's ever discussed this, the larger you make it, the less times the dust is swirling around, because the vacuum will still be there, but the force will push it up against the wall, but it will make it drop a little bit quicker, still within that outside radius, and fall down a little bit quicker, instead of the possibility of it swirling around too much inside the thing and have any possibility of it being sucked back up. So let's get started. We're going to go with a thien baffle, and it's going to mount on the top. It's going to mount on the top of that barrel. I'm going to go 18 inches. So 18 inches will be the diameter of my thien baffle on the outside measurements. it up some and line up the second. And here it is. Okay, so I decided I'm going to make my staves out of some of the same plywood. I got a couple of pieces laying around in the shop. They're about the right length, or right height. And I think one more piece up here that I can use up for the balance. I did. So anyway, calculating how am I going to come up with 17-inch ring? How do I know what do I need? What I need is a calculator or a cell phone. And basically, you know what you're starting off with. You need a 17-inch circle. 17-inch circle. So 17 inches, you multiply pi times pi, 3.14 equals, it gives me a number there, 53.38. So 53 and a half, basically. So that number is the length of the board I need to make a full 17-inch circumference. So I need 53 inches, 53.5 inches board. Now you figure, how many pieces do you want? How many dividers do you want? 24, 48, 36, you tell them whatever you want. So let's say I decide I'm going to go with a 24 segments. So divide that by 24 segments equals. So 53.5 inches divide by 24 segments equals. It tells you that each segment needs to be 2.224 blah blah blah. So 2.25 inches, basically, very close to that. 2.25 inches each board. So here it is. You got 17-inch circle, multiply it times pi, which is 3.14, equals 53.5 inches total length of wood. You want 24 segments. Each segment is 2.25. Now, of course, you need the bevel for each one of those 24 segments. That you can also calculate yourself if you don't have a formula. So, if you want 24 segments, you do 360 degrees, divide by 24, you can do it this way, equals 15 degrees. But 15 degrees, that's, you have an angle on each side, so it's half of that. So you divide that again by 2, equals, you would need an angle of 7.5 degrees to each angle to make up the full piece. So at 24 segments, that's what I would have. But because I don't want 2.5 inches, that's quite a bit. 2.25 inches is quite a bit of a stave. I want to make them a little smaller than that. So I'm going to change this formula and go with 36 segments. So since I know the numbers, I wrote down the numbers. I have 53.5 inches, 53.5 inches, divide by 36 staves equals, now I come up with 1.48, which is 1.5 inches. So 53.5 divided by 36 equals 1.48. So that's 1.5 inches. Formula. 53 inches is the length of the board that I need, because I already know that 17-inch circle, I require that much, 53.5 inches of wood. Pi is 3.14, so that 17 times pi equals this 53 inches. That doesn't change. Divide by 36 instead of 24, and the answer is 1.5 inches per stave. So that's what we're going to go with. So that I'm going to do on the table saw. So I got my bottom ring and my top ring for the start of my thin baffle. Now, who would I be if I just made it out of some thin material, anything like that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some segments and make this a segmented wall. Now, the choices, I have a few. Now don't forget, the bottom of this, because the way it functions, is one of these. I take out basically 70 degrees from the main thing and make a groove up to that mark. So I will do that later on, but for now I'm going to focus on making segments to be about 6 inches tall, 7 inches tall, and make it probably a 48 segment piece to do that up. Choices of wood is always questionable. Right now I am making the chute to attach to the side of the baffle. And I'm just using the cutoffs from the original circle. I passed it on the bandsaw just to profile it exactly to what it was, because this was an inside dimension, and of course I have 3/4 of an inch added to the outside. So right now just applied some glue and gonna put it under pressure and let it dry up. Roll out a couple of pieces of tape on the floor. So start it off face down, a couple of inches, and then flap it over. And put the sticky side up. And you can flap over the back sides too, so it doesn't shift on you. So, start it off again, face down, a few inches, roll it back over, and start unwinding it. And that's more than enough length for where I need to do this. But I know that this came out to here. So I'm one piece less, but then again, this thing is thinner. So time to give it a test and see how it closes up to the circle. And this should want to close up right about where it meets, and that's not bad. Not perfect, but not bad. It's time to go in there and start applying some glue to these things. putting the circle kind of in the middle so I can strap this. See how it's going to do. Okay, I need one more piece here. This will apply some pressure to all the seams on the top. When all the glue gush up will happen at this point. This stop ring pretty much kept me in place where all these segments are nice and even. I'm gonna get a damp sponge, clean this up, and seal the bottom. Okay, so now I got that sealed on the bottom. I can go ahead and place my next ring in. It'll be a little tough getting it in, but that will go. Actually not as hard as I thought it would be. I thought that the fit would be a little bit tighter than this, which just means I'm a little off round. That will go. Now when I do something like this, I grab a screw and I put it in the middle. So right now I basically have a drum. Yep. I can go down marching band. If this doesn't work as a dust separator, as a tin baffle, you can always use it as a drum. Now this part, I've had this drying up here for a couple of hours. This should be tacky enough. Not cured, but good enough for me to be able to pass it up on the bandsaw. So basically I'm just going to follow this contour that's already established here and cut this plywood edging right here. So here it is. The port will be cut out on this side, and this will attach to the side of my port right here. The idea is, of course, I'll cut the inside that the air shoots straight against the wall and spirals and shoots down on the thing. The question becomes is, where exactly do I place this? What's the best position for it? Top, bottom, and that I'm not sure. Alright, I got a slight hump over there. The bottom looks pretty good, but I gotta take out this little hump that I got here. Well, right now, I'm going to let that dry up completely. I could technically cut the inside of the lid to this drum. I'm going to do that. And let the whole thing dry up. This is going to take a lot of screws in here. I did not have to cut all of this. It's time to cut this, following up the contour. So in this, which is a dry event, just hooks up to the top, and the suction should be enough to draw it in. Now, suction here. The question is, how much dust will be blowing out the back end if I just draw it in right now the way it is. Coming out of here. Contacts that's inside the cyclone. I'm going to vacuum the contacts on this, and hopefully we can see if there's any dust blowing out at the same time. Some dust blowing out. Definitely, if I go a little bit more aggressive, this dust. Not too bad. I was expecting a little bit less dust blow up out of this. Won't damage anything or harm anyone. So that's what I have in mind for it. This, I actually thought of putting this outside as well, maybe even the blower, and have just the hose, an opening coming through on the back of my lathe over here, and not worry about this at all, even the noise factor, and just have a remote start when I need it, and have it work outside. To remove, I will do it with a hose like this, although these are better if they're upright. It can be mounted above and still with a hose, but mounted parallel, which would probably help this blow up at the same time. And have it sit above it with this much flex hose, and to empty it out, you just unlock the lid and empty it out. Well, thanks for watching. That's my dust separator, tin baffle dust separator. A little bit more complicated than what I thought it would be. I thought it would be straightforward, and it is, but it was the first time learned with it. And of course I've seen other people do it, but watching is never the same as doing it yourself. Hands-on is the real experience. Well, thanks again, and it's almost New Year's. I think today is the 30th, so tomorrow's New Year's Eve. So thanks again. We'll see you in 2018.